Good afternoon, everyone. You're watching the Mayday Network. I'm Michelle Kinney. I'm here with Julie Roginski. This is the Dispatch, where we bring you up-to-date stories that we think you should know about. And today we want to talk about our new acting director of national intelligence, who has absolutely no experience in intelligence, government, anything. Julie?
Well, friends, if you had no reason to be concerned before, let me bring you this on a lovely, beautiful, here in New York City at least, Tuesday afternoon, to let you know that you should be concerned.
Yeah.
Because we have a situation where the multi-billion national defense environment is $115 billion intelligence budget, is going to be run by a man whose sole qualification is not that he has any intelligence experience. Tulsi Gabbard didn't really either, but at least she was a member of Congress, which means she had access.
Yeah, I mean, at least there was something. She had something going on. She'd run for president, you know what I mean?
I'm not going to compliment her because she...
No, but like the bar is basically on the floor.
She is at best a Russian useful idiot. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But naming Bill Pulte as the acting director of national intelligence, friends, may be the most dangerous appointment Trump has made. And let me lay out for you why.
Hands down.
He has elevated cranks and sycophants and ideologues and Fox News green room warriors, Pete Hegseth, revenge fantasists, people whose only evident qualification was their willingness to say yes, sir, while democracy was being fed into the wood chipper. But this one is the worst yet.
Yep.
And the reason for this is not because Bill Pulte is deeply unqualified for this post. Just to give you some background, his background is not intelligence. It's in housing. And it's not in housing in the sense that he actually has experience. He inherited a big company from William J. Pulte, his grandfather, the founder of the Pulte Group, and it's one of the country's major home builders, right?
Wow, another rich kid?
Another rich kid, yes. He graduated from Northwestern not long ago, and then he founded Pulte Capital Partners in 2011. What is that, Michelle, 5 years ago? It's an investment firm focused on building and housing products. And then he later served on the board of Pulte Homes / Pulte Group. And then Trump installed him as the director of the federal FHMA, which is the where he oversees Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and the Federal Home Loans Bank. So if you
and Julie, I have a question about that. What did he do in his capacity in that role?
Well, Michelle,
in helping Donald Trump.
I'm so glad you asked, Michelle, because it really had nothing to do with housing. What it had to do, no, you would be interested to know. He, had access to housing finance information in this capacity, and he used the prestige of his office to turn mortgage paperwork into political ammunition.
And who did he bring that against?
Well, I'm glad you asked. There is an attorney general here named Letitia James.
Yep.
And apparently she did nothing wrong, but he used some sort of mortgage application that she co-signed for her niece, I believe, down in Virginia. And he referred her to the Justice Department, which promptly indicted her. And as we all know, based on bullshit, which is why a grand jury would not indict.
Of course.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't say she got indicted. I would say they tried to indict her, and they failed.
And this is and I'm genuinely asking. This is where he had that sham situation going on with the lawyer who shouldn't have been there in Virginia, as well as Alina Habba in New Jersey. That's part of that whole thing too. Right?
And in addition to that, he also went after a Federal Reserve, somebody on the Federal Reserve. He didn't want her there. She was not a Trump appointee, so he went after her as well. And, you know,
was that Lisa Cook, right?
Lisa Cook, yes. And so understand that that's when he had access to like housing information and to mortgage applications, right?
Yeah. Which is like not insignificant, but it's a pretty big thing to have access to. So if he's going to be moving into some kind of role, which by the way, just so people know, Donald Trump wants him to continue in this role while also serving as DNI.
Right.
So the amount of intelligence that this man is going to have access to weaponize, not just domestically, but abroad as well, because this is the CIA and the FBI. It is all of our intelligence apparatus. And if you don't think for 1 second that Donald Trump, and I'm yes, his political enemies, of course, there's a long list, but he won't use it against us too, like protesters or people who are speaking out or anything like this. I mean, they're already trying to do this, but it's like this, he is becoming increasingly unhinged. And we can talk about more about that in a second. We should finish up this about this Pulte guy, but he is becoming increasingly unhinged on Truth Social, like nonstop posting, going after his quote unquote enemies. And I have his Truth Social thing up here. We can look at that in a minute as well. But like in the background of this, in the last couple of weeks, because every story, we're living in Brigadoon, right? So like every day is 100 years, and we forget about stuff that happened last week when he brought the press outside to show them, you know, breaking ground on the ballroom. And it's going to have a medical center. It's going to have a military grade medical center. And it's going to have this and it's going to have that. Guys, he's not leaving. And this is all part of it. This Bill Pulte appointment today, all of it is all part of this.
So I just, you know, we should have known back when Tulsi Gabbard was trying to save her job when she went down to Georgia, if you remember, and went into that warehouse and seized those ballots.
Like a photo of her like peeking out of the corner.
Yeah, seized those ballots that Trump said were evidence that the 2020 election was stolen. To be clear, it wasn't. But that's one time. This guy's entire existence at the Housing Authority has been based precisely on going after people, on revenge. And now he's being handed intelligence information on all of us. Friends, on all of us.
All of us.
Here's how it works. They can monitor phone calls. They can't monitor technically, legally, unless they have a warrant. They can't monitor phone calls between Michelle and me.
I'm sure that'll stop them.
Right. But they can monitor phone calls between me and my cousin in France because he's a foreign national. And anything, yes, it is the puppy barking. And anything that I say to him can be picked up. Now, I want to talk about that in the context of Jared Kushner because I think it's really important. And this is a story that has not gotten a lot of attention. About a year ago, Jared Kushner was caught on an intercept. He himself, I don't think, on this intercept, but there were two foreign nationals discussing Jared Kushner and Iran. And whatever he said so alarmed an NSA official that he blew the whistle. And said this needs to go to Congress. This needs to be heard by the chairs of the two relevant intelligence committees, one in the House, one in the Senate, and needs to be heard by the ranking members. Instead of doing that, Tulsi Gabbard ran to the White House and spoke to Susie Wiles about it. And whatever was on this intercept, now, this is a year or so before we attacked, maybe not a year, about 9 months before we attacked Iran. Whatever this discussion was about Jared Kushner, so alarmed the White House that rather than doing what they were supposed to be doing, which is reporting this to Congress, she locked it up in her safe.
Yep.
And only then did this whistleblower blow the whistle enough that it got finally to Congress. And whatever they briefed Congress on, they said it was so sensitive that they could not tell Congress about it, which is in direct violation of the law. Congress has to know. That is called congressional oversight. Not all of Congress, they leak like a sieve.
Right.
Chairs of the two relevant committees, the House and the Senate, and I think it's actually the Joint Intelligence Committee, and the two ranking members.
Mm-hmm.
And that did not happen. That's just Jared Kushner, friends, who, by the way, while this is all going on, is cutting God knows what the hell deal to quote unquote end the war in Iran. You know, don't make me laugh. And so that's Tulsi Gabbard. Now this guy,
so much worse,
not just going to lock the stuff up in a safe. He's going to go after anybody who blows the whistle,
or anybody.
And he's going to use the power of his office to do it.
Yep.
We now have effectively a fucking KGB here. I want people to understand what's happening, because I think when we think about national intelligence, we think about these are people who are meant to keep us safe.
Yeah, these are career people, and this is serious, and there's going to be enough kind of oversight and adults in the room that like they'll be able to stop this. That day is over. That day was over in November of 2024.
And so I just, I want people to know, and I want people to understand what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we don't have a national security apparatus that is designed to keep us safe. We have a national security apparatus that is designed to target us.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot believe, as I sit here today,
I know,
a Soviet refugee who's fleeing from that this is what this country has become in just a few short years. Maybe not a few short years, because this is all the Patriot Act and all this other stuff. And then after 9/11, I just remember I was in Congress working in the Senate when all of this was kind of discussed, and it became, you couldn't possibly say no to anything, because God forbid we'd have another 9/11. But whatever it is, I just want people to understand it has been taken to such an absurd degree. Now, the DNI has to have some sort of, legally has to have some sort of national security experience.
Right.
He doesn't just sit around reading spy novels in secure rooms. He coordinates intelligent priorities. He shapes the president's daily brief process, which he gets to read. He integrates analyses across agencies. He influences what information gets elevated. He influences which information gets buried or reframed or declassified. And that's why it's so important to have somebody with independence and expertise. And the U.S. government manual, I just want to read from this, says the director is required to have, quote unquote, extensive national security expertise. Pulte doesn't have that. And they're justifying this by saying, and this is what Pulte said, he praised Pulte's experience managing, and I quote, unquote, sensitive matters involving markets and more than 100 trillion of Fannie and Freddie Mac. And, what? You're building homes and you're conflating that with keeping this nation safe? That's your sensitive information? He didn't manage sensitive information. He weaponized people's personal, including Adam Schiff, I might add. So it's Tish James, it's Lisa Cook, and it's a United States senator. And he weaponized access to mortgage applications in order to, and that's just mortgage applications, friends. He's got everything on us.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
And okay, so he's appointed. Yes, he does need to be confirmed by the Senate. However,
well, no,
acting, but only for a certain amount of time, though, right?
I believe that he could stay as acting because he's already been confirmed by the Senate for a different role.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah, I don't know for how long, but
I saw something about a period of time, so I don't know. Jesus Christ. I mean, here's the thing, is even if he did have to be confirmed, are there any Republicans who are going to, part ways with Donald Trump on this? I just don't know.
Maybe.
I just don't know.
Maybe
some of them,
pissing him off so much.
Right. Here's the other thing too, is Donald Trump, again, is becoming increasingly unhinged. He is a caged animal backed into a corner. He knows that if he loses the midterms, he's going to have to start dealing with some shit. If you don't think that he's going to do anything in his power to stop that from happening, he already incited a violent insurrection against this country, and he got away with it. Not only that is, and apparently now he's walking this back, which whatever. Excuse me. A $1.8 billion slush fund as, sort of an advance payment to these people to come back and do it for him again.
So,
I
just want to be clear. So Pulte specifically, he can serve up to 210 days.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's a long time.
Wait. If Trump nominates him now to the Senate, right?
Yeah.
And if that nomination is withdrawn, rejected, or returned, another 210-day clock can start, and that can happen twice.
Are you kidding me?
No. So the point is, this guy is there for the foreseeable future. And,
well, this is what he did at the end of his first term. It was acting this and acting that, and they had the hot tub guy as attorney general. I mean, again, like, these are all singular stories that should outrage us on face value. But when you put them all together, they are spelling out, they are painting a picture that we have been warning about for years. And this is the part where all of us were screaming in 2024 and the years leading up to that, by the way. A lot of us were saying he's not coming back. He didn't go anywhere. This is the nightmare scenario that we were all talking about. And again, like the people around him, right, that have to curate and tailor all the information, all the intelligence briefings, all these things that they give Donald Trump. Again, we're dealing with a mentally unwell mob boss. So what are they going to do? They're not going to bring him information that's going to upset him, right? They're going to bring him stuff that's going to make him feel emboldened or good about himself. He Truth Social, or I forget. No. It was during the interview, I think, with Lara Trump, his daughter-in-law, which is a whole nother discussion for another day. But he was saying, well, my polls on CNN say that MAGA is 100% with me. Harry Enton at CNN, he's very good. He gives me very good polls. And I'm like,
Harry Enton has not been giving him good polls. It just
that's the one poll that made him look good. And I guarantee that is the one poll
that they showed him. Yep. And
that's it.
I am, as people get here, I am, the reason we were supposed to do this at 1:00, but instead we ended up doing this at 2:00 is because my puppy trainer came an hour early. I am doing a better job training my little 10-week-old puppy to be self-sufficient than these people are training the president of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Like crazy. Yeah. And friends who are not American, who are living, we have people here from Britain, from Australia, from Canada, from you're the Five Eyes, my friends.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be very clear that this endangers you too, because this has access to intelligence. Mm-hmm. And whatever you in your country collect an intelligence and you share with him, I wouldn't trust it. God forbid your Starmer doesn't want to send, frigates to the Persian Gulf.
No one is safe in this world except for Vladimir Putin. He is the only person in this entire world that is safe from Donald Trump's wrath and vengeance. Like, that's it. That's it. Not even his own children. Yep. And part of the other, and I was just listening to the Bulwark before I came on here, and it was Tim Miller was talking to Bill Kristol about how Donald Trump has gone full authoritarian. Like, I mean, it's not even like diet authoritarianism. I mean, it is authoritarianism with like a mob boss sort of flavor. And it's Kim Jong-un, the way that he's acting with his family, and like, he only surrounds himself with family, people he will trust. And, while people are asking him about, who's the heir going to be to the White House, or, he's not thinking about that. He doesn't want there to be an heir after him. That's how these people operate throughout history. You have to, you know what I mean? It's like none of them are thinking like, oh, who's going to take over after me? Because whoever takes after him is going to go after his family, or is going to have the power to hold that over their heads. And he's not going to want that. So he's going to set up, nothing. And apparently, he's been asked several times, publicly and privately, thing about, do you think JD Vance is up for it? And he's like, not really. And apparently he brings up the Ohio State trophy thing pretty often with him. And apparently that's something that has stuck in his mind, which is very funny. But and Susie Wiles apparently has told JD Vance, put the phone down, stop tweeting. And this, I feel like this White House is starting to leak more, which means I think that it's starting to get a little crazier over there. But like, I think the leak's Susie Wiles always, but that's just my opinion. But listen, I mean, this is a man who is literally taking every lever of power, every dollar at his disposal to enrich himself and to put himself in a bunker. That's it. Because he's not leaving. I mean, when he was talking about, oh, we're going to have these things up here. We're going to have snipers. We're going to have snipers up here. They can see all of DC. They can see all of DC. The first thing that came to my mind was like, oh, it's a watchtower.
Oh, friends, Vladimir Putin, just to put it in perspective, is no longer ever at the Kremlin. He is at his 10 different dachas, which is a country house in Russia, both all of which are billion-dollar bunkers. They all look, whenever he does a public address, see how I'm sitting in a white room right now because I haven't painted the wall yet? He does it like this. They all look the same, so nobody could figure out where he's doing it from. And that is because he's scared of his own people.
Yep, he should be.
He should be. He is terrified of the Ukrainians. He's terrified of NATO. He's terrified of everybody, but he's terrified of his own people, most of all.
Yeah.
Because every time a Russian ruler or a Soviet ruler was destroyed, he was destroyed from within by his own people. Whether it is the Tsar in 1917, overthrown by his own people, whether it was Gorbachev, overthrown by his own people, he knows how the story ends.
Yeah.
And what I want to be very clear about is that Donald Trump is the same. He's scared of his own people. I don't know the leader of any democratic country that is scared of his own people.
Yeah.
Keir Starmer may be worried that he's going to lose support in the House of Commons and lose his position, and that's okay. The United Kingdom has, God knows how many, for my British friends, how many prime ministers you've gone through in the last 5-10 years. I mean, it's like a new one every day. It's not even worth keeping track anymore, right? Macron is not, I mean, all of that is it is what it is, right? But what I think is interesting is that Trump is not scared of losing an election because he's got no more elections to run.
He doesn't. Right. He doesn't. Well, because he's like, it doesn't matter if I lose because I'm just not going to leave. And I've got my military and I've got my ICE and I've got my people and I got all the money and I've got all the stuff. I have a hospital underneath here and like to give me my infusions and whatever else.
And why is Pete Hegseth getting rid of any general or any admiral who is not loyal to him? They want control of the military. I know this sounds crazy. I know this sounds, but like Michelle and I are not paranoid. Everybody thought that January 6th could never happen. Everybody thought that Donald Trump, we've never had a non-peaceful transfer of power before. How could this? I mean, of course, this is America. This isn't ever going to happen. Everything with Donald Trump are things that sound so improbable that nobody thinks they're going to happen. And guess what?
Then they do. And not to be, I said this, but like I was one of many people, I'm sure, who said things like this. But it was, right after the election, I was like, get your affairs in order. Make sure you have your passport, have cash in your house, have these things. And I'm like, this is a worst case scenario, but like shit could get crazy here. Like it really could. And it still can. And, I told people to imagine the worst possible thing that they could think of happening. And like really put that in realistically in the back of your mind and not be afraid of it, right? Because fear is your enemy. Fear is your enemy. But to let it inform you about the decisions that you make and how you conduct yourself. Again, not in fear, but of knowing what could possibly be coming. And this all in the background of Peter Thiel has left for Argentina, which we spoke about briefly the other day. And he is saying I don't know what to believe about him because I think he's full of shit, but I also think he's insane. So he's taken his children to Argentina and is setting up shop there. Apparently living in this, very posh neighborhood and having these dinners and planning to take over the world.
I've been to that neighborhood in Buenos Aires. It's very nice.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
Hope they're all having a lovely time with their new
He's also
neighbor.
got a house in New Zealand. Like he's got
Yeah, he's got a shit ton of money.
He's applied for national. I think I forgot which citizenship he's got, but he's applying for Maltese citizenship, and he's got something else. It's interesting. Yeah, but go ahead.
Of course. Well, and he's saying it's because, just like laughable, nuclear war being one of them, and the other one being that he's just afraid of the instability of the United States and what could happen here. Now, there's a couple scenarios here. Is that bullshit and he's just leaving to go do something more crazy? Or does he kind of believe that because he was part of that and that's been the plan, is for things to break down here? Or is he afraid of Americans coming after him? Because the temperature is rising by the day. Look around you, look online, see what's happening in outside Delaney Hall, the way that people are in these town halls are going after data centers. Like, people have had it. And I don't know what it comes to. I really don't. I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to think about it, of it, the violence in this country, having civil wars, things like that, like that's, by the way, if you've ever seen the film Civil War that came out in 2020, I believe 2023, as a warning for all of this, and where the president in that movie hides out at the height of everything that happens. I mean, that movie scared the shit out of me because it was so realistic. And you could put yourself in the middle of that and be like, I see it. I could see this happening here. Because the premise is there's a president who stays for a third term. And it tears the country apart.
Yeah.
And it's this is why when this news came down, at first I was like, who? And then I was like, oh my God. Like, this is scary and should not be taken lightly at all. At all.
Yeah.
And also, just one more thing. I just want to say on like the cybersecurity front, in terms of like intelligence and stuff, like we are so completely vulnerable here in this country. Our power grid, our water systems, everything. For our enemies to strike us would now be the perfect time to shut down all the power in New York City or on the Eastern Seaboard or anything like that. And the Chinese have gone into them just to look around and come out. I mean, this stuff, it's we can't live in fear, but like, these people are really scary, and there's no one coming to save us. We are the ones we've been waiting for, and that's the truth.
Yeah, and I think that's something important for people to understand. We are absolutely the ones we've been waiting for, and these people
they're crazy, and there is no line that they will not cross.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The last thing I just would like to show, if people have not seen this, Pete Hegseth was on the deck of a ship with members of the military abroad. I feel like this was somewhere in Southeast Asia or something, working out. And I did put some fake audio behind this, so it's not audio from the thing, just so people know. But this is him working out with the people. And this is another person who is in charge of our defense.
Go!
Yeah.
Michelle Kinney strikes again.
Well, it's if people haven't seen that, it's actually really funny. There's like this fake thing of the Beach Boys where somebody put fake audio over the Beach Boys singing "I Get Around," and it's like so funny, and that's all I could think of when I saw him doing that. thing with his legs. But like these again, it's just all happening on TV. This is the Hunger Games. These are all people who want us in the Hunger Games. Aren't you entertained? Celebrity Apprentice, Tara Setmayer said this. The Celebrity Apprentice meets the Hunger Games. And that is exactly what we were dealing with.
Yep. 100%.
So anyways, real bummer, but you know, let this fuel you. Let this fuel you, you know.
Go out and vote, please. And subscribe to the Media Network if you're not subscribed already. Like and subscribe, both here and Substack if you're watching us there. Like and subscribe. For people who did not see it, we have a new podcast out with Alex Vindman, one of the bravest people around. That is on Media Network right now and also on our YouTube channel. So please watch.
Yes. And I want to give a shout out to Julie who interviewed Alex Vindman. I sadly could not be there last minute, but she did such a great job and it's such a great conversation. It's just, it's so free flowing and I just thought it was great, Julie. So good job.
Thank you. He's a great guy and you should give it a watch just because he's got a lot to say. Not just as a Senate candidate, he's running for Senate in Florida. And if you're in Florida, please think about voting for him. And if you are not in Florida and you have a few bucks to spare and you're an American citizen, please think about going to alexvindman.com and sending him a couple of bucks. But if he, not just because of that, although he'd make a great senator, but also former national security official. And he's the guy that
blew the whistle on Donald Trump.
And he said explicitly that nobody's above the law. Well, the Supreme Court apparently disagrees, but I think as Americans, we absolutely agree. Thank you, Kev Cox. And everybody else who has already seen this, thank you for watching us and for being such wonderful supporters. And we will see you, Michelle, I think we're going live again in a little bit, right?
Yeah, I don't know exactly when, but we will. And also to Timothy, pre-recorded was great for captioning too. Anything that's pre-recorded, I always make sure to provide a captioning file, an SRT file on the back end. So, you know, I'm very glad that you noticed that because I want to make sure that all of our viewers and our supporters can participate and watch. So.
We will try to be back today because we have a couple of funny things to potentially talk about to make it a little lighter. In the meantime, stay safe, stay strong, stay fearless, stay unafraid. We are, and we will see you all real soon. Bye.
Bye, everyone.